敬礼了明和尚，敬礼萨迦真空上师，敬礼16世大宝华萨玛巴。
Pay homage to the lineage gurus, to Master Sakya Tsongkhong, to Venerable Maung Liaoming, to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and to Master Thupten Torchi. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, Amitayus Buddha. Sumo, Tenzin Gyatso, all Dhamma masters, Dhamma educators, Dhamma teachers, Dhamma instructors, Dhamma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the webcast. And our VIPs today are the Madam to the Ambassador Daniel Liao Kapira from Sweden and Norway, Dhamma Sister Judy, and accountant to the Buddha Foundation, Dhamma Sister Teresa and her husband Larry, producers for Kini Tiansang Shinten from CTI-TV Taiwan, Dhamma Sister Rebecca Shiachi, and Dr. Zhou, and Dr. Ryan Zhuang and his father, and the advisors to the overseas Chinese from Republic of China, Mr. Mac, and Dr. J.D. Gao, dentist from Indonesia, Miss Yang, and the comic artist from Indonesia, Miss Yang. Thank you for your presence here today.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? In Chinese, Taiwanese, and Cantonese. Oh, no announcements for Homa next week? Oh, it's the Lord Tian Da Jiao. So the Homa for Amitayus today, I was told by Master Lien Yin that the primary supplicants today are very few. And I thought, that's fine. They have to be used the more to complement the less. But if it's less, there's nothing to add to it. But the primary supplicants today are very few. But let me share this joke. It's not a joke, it's a true story. Words through the grapevine. X went to a place and did the Homa ceremony at the chapter. And the primary supplicants were very few. On that day, maybe just a couple or a few can be counted by the fingers. And she wasn't there when the primary supplicants were waiting for her, so they invited her to come the second time, the third time, and she still didn't want to come. And everybody was waiting at the ceremony. And it had been a long time. It took a long time to invite her. It turned out because the primary supplicants were too few. So the income will not lift up her spirit. So she did not want to conduct the ceremony. So the director of that chapter begged and pleaded. And then, please find a way, please do. And what should we do? And then accept that everything in the chapter, directors, presidents, secretary, treasurers, reps. So you have to become primary supplicants on behalf of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas enshrined at the chapter. So at the Rainbow Temple, how many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are enshrined there? Over 60. You should represent all of them. So you should become primary supplicants for all of them. But I already did it. I already did the ceremony. But for her, she did not want to perform the ceremony unless all the directors of the temple, president, secretary, treasurers, and everyone at the chapter should become a primary supplicant on behalf of each of the deity. So we should do that in the future. Master Lien Yin, Master Ivan, Master Lien Xi, Lien Yen, and Lien Qing, Lien Wan, and Lien You. You have to represent 5 deities, that's good enough. Each one of you represent 5 deities. So you need to find people. So when the primary supplicants are so few, how can I be enthusiastic about performing the ceremonies? But it was just a joke. We just let it be, because the economy is not so good, the time is not so good, but America is good, right? The economy has been getting better, but not for Taiwan. But why is Taiwan's economy related to Seattle? Right? So in the future, we have to follow her method to do it. Otherwise, we would be at a huge loss. So you have to stand at the Rainbow Temple's gates. And when you see someone, you should ask, do you want to become a primary supplicant today? Okay? But no, that was just a joke. Okay. Just joking around so that to break the ice. But XX really did that. So today we will talk about Amitayus Buddha, the Tathagata of longevity. And his mudra is similar to Amitabha's Buddha's, not with 2 circles, but the tip of 2 thumbs touching each other. And this mudra is the mudra of holding the nectar vase or ambrosia vase, because the longevity vase is his emblem, and he's an emanation of Amitabha Buddha. Because Amitabha Buddha is the Buddha of infinite life and infinite light. So infinite life meaning long life. Light. Light, like the name of Xiao Guang, Master Lin or Ivan. You are Xiao Guang, little light. But Amitabha Buddha is a great light, big light, very big light. So he's an emanation of Amitabha Buddha. And the differentiating appearance is that he's holding a longevity vase filled with a longevity ambrosia. And then you visualize Amitayus, the vase opens and the white nectar enters through the tip of your head and fill your whole body. You visualize this way and you would attain a long life. And the three longevity deities are Amitayus, Tathagata, Ushina Vijaya, and White Tara. They are referred as the longevity trinity. Very important. So the appearance is he has one head, two arms, and red body, a top knot in his hair, and wearing a five Buddha crown, clothed in a long silk skirt with the celestial garment as the upper layer, adorned with precious jewels, and display the magnificence of a Sambhogakaya body. His hands form the meditation mudra, holding the longevity treasure vase. He sits on top of a lotus moon disk with legs crossed in the Vajra position. It's like here, like so with mantra, mudra, the mantra. And the sixth syllable is also she. She, the same as Amitabha's. Radiating a red, bright light. So with the mantra, his look and mudra, then you can perform the longevity practice of Amitayus. And yesterday I have said, most importantly, in order to live a long life, first you have to take in the air or the qi. So you want to take in the qi of the whole universe into yourself. And you merge yourself into the whole universe. And this kind of qi is truly expansive and infinite and boundless. I have a thought that is different from most people. What is the universe? We know that the universe has no bounds. It is infinite. There are many suns in the universe, not just one sun, because the other suns are too far. So in our Milky Ways, we saw a sun, and then there are many planets. So Earth, Venus, is that with the element of earth, water, fire, wind, there's no wind planet, right? We were talking about 9 planets, right? And the one sun. So what I'm thinking is different from yours. That the universe is infinite, but inside one solar system, it is like the womb of a woman. So the womb of a woman can give birth to 1 or 2 babies, for twins, or triplets, or quadruplets, or quintuplets. How about 9? 9 babies at once? Then there would be the 9 planets. So inside one womb, there would be many planets in it, many stars and planets in it. That would be a solar system. So that's in my opinion. Inside a woman's womb, it's like a solar system. And they form these planets and then give birth to them, to like expel them, and then form another one. And then once it's being expelled, then it would be in into a different world. Because their lifespan is rather long. So the solar system is like a womb. And one day, all these great planets will be pushed out into where? Into the great universe. Then you would see how big or how boundless the universe is. So this is my own opinion, because the whole universe is similar to a human being. The solar system is similar to the human body. And it's written in the Bible that God created human beings based on His own look and shape. So He would look like a human being, right? And God rules the whole universe. He created the whole universe. And there's a fly here. Oh, the fly is coming here to take refuge. Or by do deliverance. Take refuge, and now it flew away. So my train of thought is different from other people's. In this solar system, I want to gain the radiation power of other suns. So this sun gives us light and warmth. Human beings and animals and plants, living beings can live on due to the photosynthesis. However, I think that I am able to gain the radioactive power of other suns. So try your best to find the greater radioactive power. Then you would be able to increase your power. So the front and the back and the left and the right and above and below the universe, if all this power is on your body, then you would have that transcendent, supranatural power. So think about it, mull over it, ponder on it. This is too deep and profound. But let me tell you that mainland China is doing research on this at one place, 2 places. They are researching on this. This is it's beyond science. It's a kind of science beyond science. At the Weixing Anli. Do you know where it is? At the place called Daxing Anli. At the Heilongjiang, north of Heilongjiang, and you didn't even know it's north of your homeland. Do you know where Inner Mongolia is? How far is Inner Mongolia from your Heilongjiang province? Far. So, and where is Mongolia? Didn't you learn maps? Did you go to school? Because it's cultural revolution, so you didn't go to school. So you were the red troops, part of the red troops. And we talk about the 9 provinces of the Northeast. Shenyang, Changchun, Harbin, the 3 major province capitals, and then Outer Mongolia. Inner Mongolia is part of China, and Outer Mongolia is now independent, its own country. And Daxing Anli is between Inner Mongolia and Heilongjiang. And you're from China, and I'm from Taiwan, and I know more than you. Haven't you learned about Manchuria? That's part of your clan. That's when Japan invaded China, the northern eastern part of China. The Japanese established the country of Manchuria. Okay, now I wouldn't test you anymore on the geography. But they are doing research on this, and I've been thinking about this as well.
它的这个观测的这个辐射是不属于宇宙之间、宇宙前面，而是在宇宙的外方的辐射。
So the radioactive power is not that is being reasoned is not inside the known solar system, but outside of the surrounding area. So in order to live a long life, we have to take in the qi. If the qi inside your body can be luminous or emit light, if the qi inside your body is flowing smoothly inside your body, then you will have no pain. Well, will you have pains? Because it's inflamed. And why is it inflamed? Because it's blocked. So if qi can reach all parts of your body and all channels are open and flowing, then you would be healthy. So this is one very important key point. Take in the qi. Second, you need to swallow the saliva, take in the water. So you need to have enough water inside the body, so you can take in all the water from the universe into your body. And here we have the celestial pond or lake. And what's melting from it, it's called the saliva. And then if you can swallow your saliva and moisten all parts of your body so that your hormones stay maintained, then you can live a long life. So take in the qi and take in the saliva, and then non-leaking, like Grandmaster is a non-leaking Mahasiddha, that you will not leak any of your hormones from your body. Then you can be rejuvenated, you can retain your youthfulness, then you would live a long life. So if you want to be healthy, then you need to practice the longevity Dharma practice. Not just taking in the qi, swallowing the saliva, and be non-leaking. You want to practice, cultivate spiritually and never cheat people, never fight or compete. Because if you have rivalry, then you would have competition, and then one of you will lose and would create problems, and then you would have enemies, and you want to maintain your calmness and serenity. You cannot kill. You want to be compassionate and merciful. Those are conditions to be a long life. You have a good heart, then you would sleep well. If you're very kind, then your body and mind would be nice and cool. Then you would live a long life. If your mind and heart is very very unsettled, very chaotic, and you have too much things on your mind, and you think of a lot of things, you cannot empty yourself, then you can't fall asleep. If you argue and compete and always creating fights, then your heart and mind will not be cool and calm. So most importantly, you want to maintain your good and kind hearts. You help others, you're happy, you will not be depressed, and you will not be hyperactive. Then when you have a clear and cool mind, then you would have a long life. So that's mentally. So Gulama told us that in order to live a long life, you have to be pure and cool. You don't have so much desires, you're content, you don't have to have something, then that would be longevity. So this is a very important point. So, like taking in the qi, swallowing the saliva, and non-leaking are part of the spiritual cultivation. And you need to maintain a good heart and be always kind and helpful to others, and you don't cheat others, you don't deceive others, and every night you have peace of mind and you're not depressed, and you're also not over active. So for longevity is you're seeking your own intrinsic Buddha nature. And in Taoism, we talk about being natural. A lot of things is that the human beings follow the earth, and the earth follows the heavens, and the heavens follows the way. So in the summertime, you wear less because it's hot, and in the wintertime, it's cold, then you wear more, and then in the spring, you still don't want to catch cold, so you have to be able to adapt to nature. Then you would be healthy and live a long life. That's all I can say about Amitayus Buddha. Let me teach you. If you're kind-hearted, then you would live a long life. But if you're not kind, and if you always want to harm others, to deceive others, to hurt others, then you would have mental illness already. So like X, that she has a kind of illness too. It is hallucination and liar. So it's a kind of sickness. So she is actually sick too. So her body will not be healthy. So it's like a delusional disorder and a liar. Whatever she said are all lies. And the earth goddess, the earth mother goddess, is just an earth god, but a big one. So it's like Prithvi Deva, you know, but they are just gods of the earth because they are also the gods from the heaven. And yet the earth mother goddess, she said that axis in charge, and whatever she says counts. But above the God of heaven, there's still the King Indra and more above. So even the Earth Mother Goddess words do not necessarily count. How could she said that whatever she said counts based on what the Earth Mother Goddess told her? So I can consult it, Golden Mother. Can the Earth Mother Goddess words always count? And Golden Mother said, no. Well, in that case, how could she write something like on a note and then place it on XX forehead, saying that whatever XX says counts, right? So today, let me continue to talk about Lamdre. It's already 4:15. So here, talking about harmony, so the so-called harmony is the basis of all paths. It is the source of all merits. The visualization practice is like this. In the real practice, first, form the complete 9 postures of contemplations. The limbs are in lotus position to hold up the body. At the navel chakra, the character is like a thread, and perform the inhalation of qi and let it merge. And the stages of the practice are, first, slightly lift up the lower qi, then fill the upper qi until it's full, swallow a mouthful of saliva, tuck in the chin, lift up the lower qi again, this time strongly. And the intake of the upper qi in between the 2 liftings of the lower qi is to moderate the lower qi on how to make use of food and drink and how to empty your bowels and bladder automatically. When you can hold the upper and lower qi unfailingly, and it has to be without any chaotic disorder. However, if you press down on the upper qi, and if you press down on the upper qi, the lower qi is not lifted, or when lifting up the lower qi, the upper qi is not pressed down, then this is signs of error. If the lower qi is lifted and the upper qi is blocked naturally, or if the upper qi is pressed down and the lower qi lifts by itself, even when the exhaled qi did not disperse, this is the best kind of all precious merits. 我的猫，黑色的猫，黑色的。若配合各个和之量，开2期一盘子为数，极品能相继不断，上品64，中品32，下品不定数，每日每昼逐作依真，必能成为极品。哇，这个这么长。Wow, it's so long. 好了，念了。Oh, jeez. So if you can sit in the lotus position, and in the practice, first you practice to sit upright, and after you're familiar and with sitting upright, then you practice it during the upright sitting, and then you can do it while walking and moving. and you can practice it at any time. And then the measurement is that it can be harmonious for a long time. And the merit generated is you will have the attainments of out of the worldly practices. Oh my God. Sorry, I missed most of it. You talk so much. And I just read it. But I practiced it already, so I can explain it to you. So in your spiritual cultivation, first you practice it sitting, like for meditation or the breathing practice. Because in order for the qi has to be serene in order for you to enter into meditation. That's why the idiom of being calm and serene, when your qi is calm, then the qi would be serene. So this talks about the treasure vase energy yoga. So push down the upper qi, lift up the lower qi. You first lift and then press. For me, I would lift up the lower qi first and then press down the upper qi. And then you swallow the saliva and hold it as long as you can, and you have to. But there would be faults or errors in doing it. So when you lift up the lower qi, you have to immediately press down the upper qi. If you don't, then there's a mistake, there's an error. So it has to be just right. One lifting, one pressing. If it is like this, so the upper qi goes down, but you do not lift up the lower qi, that's also a mistake. That's also an error. So it talks about this. So you press down the upper qi and you lift up the lower qi. And when it's just right, then it would be called harmony. Which is the title. And this is taught by Virupa. And the qi should enter into the sit syllable so that the qi can increase. It's not only to be done in sitting position, there's also the standing position. Do you realize then when you lift up your anus, when your two legs are being tense, so you push the two parts of your butts, then that's lifting up the anus. And you can do that while walking too, and you can perform the breathing practice. So when you walk, you can also lift up your anus and practice the qi. And the qi will not disperse either. So you can really hold the qi in there. And the longer you can hold the qi inside, then the better you can enter into meditation. So it talks about key points here. So as soon as you lift up the lower qi, you have to press down the upper qi. But if you don't do that, then after you lift up the lower qi, then it would go up. Or vice versa. If you just press down the upper qi and you don't lift up the lower qi, then the qi would disperse from the lower parts of the body. So these are all errors, and it would generate problems in your body. So it's talked about here. And it has to be orderly, no chaos. So if you press the upper qi and you don't lift the lower qi, or vice versa, then that's error, that's a fault, that's a problem. It's written really clearly here. And it's written here. So the best kind is when it is continuous, and then the next, the high one 64, the medium one 32, and the lower kind is indeterminate. So what does it mean? The high quality 64, the mediocre quality 32, and the low quality is indeterminate. What do they mean? No. It's the channels of inside your body. How many channels on the brow chakra? Thousand petal lotus, 62 channels, 64 channels. And the mediocre level at the heart chakra, how many channels? And before we also refer to them as the lotus petals, so 32 at the heart. And then the lower quality is indeterminate. It's not by snapping your fingers 64 times. No, that's not it. So the practice of treasure-based energy yoga is you have to practice it until you can do it for 24 hours non-stop at every second in order to reach the supreme or topmost quality. How many times you practice treasure-based energy yoga? How many times? Once in the morning, once at night. So by lifting up the lower qi and pushing down the upper qi, how many times a day? 3 times. 3 times. Then you're still very far from a breathing practitioner. So it's said here, you do it every single day and continuously in order to become superb at it. And to perform treasure-based energy yoga, you have to do it 21 times continuously. 21 times each time, and you have to do it several times a day. Once in the morning upon waking up, before breakfast, one before breakfast, one at noon, one at dusk, and one at night. So 5 times a day. So morning, night, noon, and in between. So just treasure this energy yoga. You have to do it 5 times a day, and each time you have to do it 21 treasure this energy yoga. 21 cycles. That's the, if you focus on it, the specialty. And you do it while sitting or standing or walking. So the harmony is when the lower chi and the upper chi are matching and in harmony. That's called harmonious union. And that's the source of all merits. And not only that, we have 5 different kinds of chi in our body. One is the life chi, or the heart chi, which is not moving. Once it moves, then you would lose your life. So the life chi is unmoved. It only moves when you are dying. So this life chi is also the soul. And then the fire accompanying chi, which is inside the central channel, and the peripheral chi on the limbs and all around on the sides, and then the upper chi and lower chi. And the lower chi govern the lower part of the body, and the upper chi, the upper part, and the peripheral chi, the peripheral parts, and the movement of your arms, of your legs, the movement of the chi, and also the movement of the heart, or the blood circulation is due to the chi movement, including the spiritual movements is due to the movement of the chi. So how do you practice it? The real practice is really quite lengthy. If you can make all the chi merge together for many days, then you can truly enter into the remaining samadhi and the remainless samadhi. If all the different chi can merge together harmoniously, then you can enter into meditation. And if you can practice according to this method, then it can eradicate all kinds of faults due to the chaotic disorders and disharmony of the body. So all the attainments of both the worldly and out-of-worldly practices are here. Is this. So in this harmonious yoga, if you don't know how to lift up your lower chi, and you only have the upper chi going down, then you would have pain on your spine. In order to alleviate it, there is a method. It's by meditating and use your fist, make fist, and then place it on at the bottom of your butts or buttocks. So you sit on a cushion and form the lotus position, and then you use both arms to lift up your body, and then let go of your hands, and then you would drop to the ground, or you would drop to the cushion, and you repeat it over and over. If you do this, then it would remove all obstructions. and then the disharmony of your qi. So you need to do it this way. So do you know how to do it? Do you understand? I have done it before. At the Seattle Temple's carpet, I have shown it to you. Something like this. So you lift up your body, and then you drop, and then you let go, and drop your body. So you lift your body and let go. So if you make mistakes, and then the qi cannot be in harmonious union, and you have all kinds of ailments, then you have to alleviate it using this method. You lift up your body with both of your hands and then let go. And then your buttocks will hurt. So you form fists first, and then you lift up your body and then let go. You have to perform this. So this is to alleviate that when you push down your upper qi, you don't lift up your lower qi immediately. Or when you lift up your lower qi, you don't push down the upper qi immediately. Then you would cause problems in your body. So Guru Padmasambhava said that all merits, the source of all merits, come from Treasury-based energy yoga. And Virupa also said that all merits come from the harmonious qi, which is the same as the Treasury-based energy yoga energy. So it takes many repetitions. 62 is the lotus here, the lotus with the 62 lotus petals, or 64 actually. And here it's 32 lotus petals, which actually are the channels. Now let me share jokes. Let's not get too serious. The kid is the monk Xuan Zhang, which is always protected and can discern between good and bad. So a family is like a journey to the west. Mom is like the monkey king, always laborious and never appreciated, and always take the hardest job and responsibility. And the elderly is like the monk Sa Wu Jing, that just do without asking anything for in return. And dad is like the pig, no use, only eats, and then can be seduced by the fox spirit if you're not careful. The wife asked the husband, "Look, you drank like this, you must have fallen on the way." And the husband replied, "No, I didn't slip and fall." And the wife asked, "How come there's all dirt all over your body?" And the husband replied, "Oh, I crawled back home." So as Buddhist practitioners, the last of the 5 precepts is not to be intoxicated, not to drink alcohol. In the past, Grandmasters also drank lots of alcohol. When Grandmaster was very young, drank lots of wine. And then, why did I stop completely? Because every time I drank, then I would have red eyes. So like the red-eye monkey, every time I drank some alcohol, so I stopped. Did I stop drinking after I became a monk? I still drank a little. And then after drinking, there would be the blood vessels will break in my eyes, so I stopped. Because maybe the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas were telling me that I have to be a good example to my disciples and sentient beings, so I stopped drinking. Because I hope that you don't drink, because there will be lots of problems sometimes when you drink, like in accidents. Human beings encounter lots of accidents, like drivings, it doesn't matter, even after the longevity practice, you could die from the accident or from the crash. So please don't drink, please abide by the precepts, and then in the life to abide by the laws, and in the Buddhist practice abide by the precepts. I was dining with a friend, and the friend wanted a natto, tofu, and he took a bite and said, "Oh, this is really smelly." You know, and then the servant changed it, and then he complained again, oh, that the dish is also very like rotten. So the chef was brought in, and the chef finally said, "Hey, can you please put on your socks?" So before you blame other people, please check on yourself first. Sometimes that's the case. So the foul smell came from where? Not from the dishes, but actually it's from your own feet. So for a spiritual cultivator, we want to be retrospective of ourselves. 3 times. You have to check on yourself if you have breached the precepts. If you make a mistake, you have to correct yourself. Then you will be called, you're cultivating spiritually. If you don't change your behaviors or you don't correct your mistakes, then what are you cultivating? And if you don't change, you breach the 5 precepts, you kill, you steal, you are infidel, you lie, and you steal, you lie, and then you get intoxicated. Then what's the point of cultivating spiritually? At least, in the least, you have to abide by the 5 precepts. If you don't, then you are destined to fall into the 3 lower realms, to hell, hungry ghosts, or the animal realms. If you're greedy, you would fall into hell. If you have lots of hatred and anger, you would become animals. Or the ignorant or deluded one to become animals. And with lots of anger and hatred and animosities, then you would become the hungry ghost. So that's cause and effect, right? So in our spiritual cultivation, we have to change all these 5 actions or deeds. I have told this joke yesterday. I found out that in the recent World Cup, America and China did not join. So I thought of the idiom of the old China. It's actually, it's a different interpretation of the idiom. Is that the Chinese and the Americans don't play soccer. It's interesting. All other countries except these 2 big countries, United States and China, don't join, but the rest of the countries play soccer because you don't earn much money playing soccer. But yeah, I guess they do. Yes. $4:45. What else to say? Think about it. What would you like to say? You have a joke for me to tell? What is it about Luo Tian Da Jiao? The Taoist universal deliverance ceremony. Would you like to tell everybody about what they should do for the Luo Tian Da Jiao ceremony? Nothing, just attend. You know, everybody thought that Grandmaster would be nervous about performing this Luo Tian Da Jiao because it's a very special and unique kind of ceremony, but I'm okay. I don't care. Every day I do my homework, I cultivate spiritually, and when I go there, it's all the same. I cultivate spiritually and I do my homework. There's nothing to pay special attention to, and I don't want to. It's very easy for me. It's easy to set me up, to fall into the hole. It's possible, but it's okay. I don't care. For me personally, I don't care about my life. I can forsake my life for Dharma. I don't mind losing my life for the sake of Dharma. That place is truly dangerous. And that's the head center of the ghost. And it's the huge, horrible place to go to. Do you dare to go? I don't mind. I don't care. As long as I'm righteous and I'm upright, there's nothing to fear. Just now, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiaji asked me to wear a bulletproof vest, but there's no need. For me, no need. It's okay for me to lose my life and body for the sake of Dharma. I don't care, because I always have Amitabha Buddha sitting on top of my crown. That's good enough. I'm satisfied. Doesn't matter what I will encounter, Amitabha Buddha will bring me to the Pure Land. That's very simple. Then I would go to the Pure Land. That's even better. There are lots of suffering in the human world. Sometimes I have to go to the toilet and everybody's still lining up, and I have to hold my pee, that I have to go to the bathroom after this long. But see, that's suffering in the human world. I have to observe all disciples who have matured, whether I can teach them the special Dharma transmission. And I always feel that I have to teach all that I know to everyone so that everyone would have attainments. Don't take it for granted. Don't just like let it pass, you know. But after I give the teaching, then I would be at peace. It doesn't matter to me whether you do it or not, whether you get it or not. So I have taught you to watch your own conduct and behavior to cultivate spiritually. But if you don't, see, if your hand is stealing, I cannot tie it down, right? Or if your feet are going to the nightclub to watch the topless, then, you know, I cannot tie you in a rope, right? Or bind you down. You know, in America, at the exit 27, there are also the shows by men, by, I think, nude, or almost nude men. And all the women went to watch. And they were in hysteria and saw their muscles and their butts and all that. So I cannot also tie you down not to go, right? But it's best to practice to be an arhat, not to see with your eyes, not to hear with your ears, not to smell the fragrance, and the tongue not to taste anything. And don't touch with your body. Because you need to know it is quite difficult to practice arhatship. As an arhat, you can only talk a few sentences to a woman, and when a man speaks to a woman, the two pairs of eyes should not gaze at each other, because once you generate spark, then you would be dead. Then you would have to maintain a certain distance. You cannot be too close. And you can only speak a few short sentences, 2 or 3 sentences. You cannot touch, definitely. if you do, like when I was in elementary school, Gao Chenshin, that was sitting behind me, my girlfriend. We went to the Taiwan power company that gave a showing of the outdoor movie. And we were going there, and the car was very narrow. So I sat on the bench inside the car, and Gao Chenshin sat right in front of me. I really liked her. I don't know if she liked me or not. And then our two knees are touching each other. Oh my God. I was so numb that I didn't even know what the movie was about. See how bad I was, even when in elementary school. So now at 74, maybe I'm worse. So when I was little, just my knees touching her knees, and I couldn't even walk anymore. And I don't even know what I was watching. I was just thinking of my knees. And when I got home, I didn't even take a bath. I didn't even wash my knees, because those were the knees that touched hers. Said I was still remembering until now. See how bad it was. So please correct your own conducts and behaviors. So many